Hello, I'm Jeff Sandman, CEO of Hyde Park Communications, and welcome to our vodcast. With me today is George Strait, the Assistant Commissioner for Public Affairs at the Food and Drug Administration. And today we're going to talk about some of the many changes going on at the FDA. And George, thanks for being with here today. So the first question is, what is Dr. Hamburg's vision for the agency and its new reorganization? What's going on?
I think Dr. Hamburg's vision was articulated best in a piece that she and her principal deputy, Dr. Joshua Sharfstein, wrote for the New England Journal of Medicine, before she was actually confirmed. And it set out the vision of the FDA as a public health agency. At its core, at Dr. Sharfstein and Dr. Hamburg's core, they are public health doctors. They are public health officials. That's how they see the world. And the FDA really is, at its core, a public health institution. Sure, it does regulation, and it's science-based, but it's regulation that is based on what is best for the public. How does one best protect the public? And to not only protect the public, but also to foster innovation that can then produce products that protect the public. So that's her vision for the FDA.
So along those lines of, advancing public health and protecting the health and safety of food and medical therapies and devices, how will the new FDA continue to foster innovation in life sciences and the pharmaceutical sectors?
Well, in an awful lot of ways, but staying true to the science is the way one fosters innovation. And staying true to the science means giving the scientists here at the FDA the space to do the kinds of things that scientists do, not just laboratory space, but also intellectual space where they can discuss. That's one of the reasons that the FDA has built this brand new campus out in Silver Spring on the grounds of an old naval war laboratory where they made mines. It's sort of maybe ironic that the FDA is in a place that used to make mines, considering all the minefields that we have to traverse. But so it's not just giving the scientists here the space, but also it's to foster a new science called regulatory science, bringing in fellows and postdocs and those kinds of folks to help us figure out what is the best science and how do we develop the best science to foster the kind of innovation that's needed, but also to reach out to sister agencies in ways that we haven't done before, the NIH and the CDC being two, but also the Center for, that used to be called HICVA, it's CMS now. A lot of products that get made, they want to get them to the market and they want somebody to be able to pay for them, and Medicare being a huge payer for drugs and devices, we need to have a better relationship with them so that we can get things from the bench to the community in a way that makes an awful lot of sense. And sort of the final collaboration would be with academia, so that, again, we can understand what is best and what's out there.
With these various changes and the new collaborations that you're talking about, and the drive to have a closer-knit public health program here in the States, tell me about some of the challenges, and more importantly, how the Commissioner and the FDA is looking to improve the efficiencies and responsiveness in the review of these medicines and therapies and getting them out to the public.
I think everyone would agree that at the FDA, it's a unique regulatory body, and that when it comes to approval of devices and other medical products and drugs, and even approval of warning labels and those kinds of things on food, that we operate in an area and in an environment where we have incomplete information. We will always have incomplete information. And we're also operating in an environment where when we make a regulatory decision, especially an approval of a medical product, some folks will say we've gone too fast, some folks will say that we've gone too slowly. So that is the environment that we live in, and we will always live in that environment. I think the best thing that we can do is say that we will proceed where the science leads us. Just the science, not the politics or anything else, but just the science.
And with that tension, that inherent tension as you're describing, is there any peek behind the curtain about speed, or what will drive the effort to, in some cases, get these new therapies out faster?
Well, we think that it's important that as new innovations come to the market, that they get tested and that they get they get to the market and they get to the consumer as quickly as the science says it should get there. So again, we all wish that things were faster. Some folks wish that things moved slower. I can remember back in the old days when HIV was first discovered and there weren't any drugs on the market, there was a huge clamor to get drugs to the market as quickly as they can. And actually that changed the face of this agency and changed the face of the way we think about drug approvals. But I hearken back to that so that we realize that we have to take everything into consideration. What patients need. Also, what is this a drug for? Is this a drug for something that for people at the end of life, and so you can take a larger risk profile, or is it a drug for someone at the beginning of life where you have to consider the risk profile in a different way? So again, it is based. I'm sorry to keep going back to it, but it is based on the science.